Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our podcast, The Culmination of Randomness. We are your hosts, AeonWraith.
And I'm Red Shadow. Thank you for joining us this Sunday morning as Wraith and I discuss whatever happens to cross our minds.
In today's episode of The Culmination Podcast, Shadow and I are going to try to discuss drinks that we love, drinks that we don't quite love as much, and kind of, why we have these or not opinions, but preferences for certain drinks. So do you want to start, Shadow, with drinks that we really like, or do you want to start with drinks that, we could do without?
Well, we can start with drinks we love. I personally, one of the drinks that I love that is probably not the healthiest for you considering the amount of sugar that's in it is
Hmm.
root beer. I
Hmm.
love root beer. I've loved root beer for a long time. Ever since I was a kid, I loved root beer. And there's different types of root beer. You've got all different brands. Mug has root beer, and there's Sparks
Hmm.
root beer. I think I can't remember. It's it's a
A&W.
no, the one in the glass bottle. What is it?
Oh,
IBM or something like that, or
yeah, yeah.
something like that. I mean, they're all good in their own right, but I have to say that Barks root beer for me is hands down the best root beer in my
Hmm.
opinion. Um, in fact, it's one of the little guilty pleasures that I partake in every once in a while, because I'm trying to be healthy and I'm trying to be conscientious about the calories that I drink.
Hmm.
Um, because people don't realize, but sugary sodas and stuff like that have so many calories in them, and if you're not counting them and you're not properly, taking into consideration how much you're drinking, you could easily be adding 2,000 to 3,000 calories every day
Yeah.
just by drinking soda. And I think that a large part of my weight, comes from whenever I was in my teenage years, I kind of ballooned up, but that's because I drank a ton of Mountain Dew Code Red.
Hmm.
And we're talking like 10 to 12 cans every day. Like that was not uncommon for me. And I mean, there's like
Yeah, you
200,
drink it like water.
there's like
Hmm.
240 calories in a Code Red Mountain Dew. So, um, but like even now, like every once in a while, like I have to have a Barks root beer, and it always just hits the spot. Like the vanilla and
Hmm.
the root beer flavor together, it's just it's just the best.
Now, I know this is a little early to be going off the rails, but I do have to go on a tangent.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it's actually about root beer.
Okay.
Uh, so I had, root beer is one of those things that is unequivocally American.
Okay.
Like you don't find it in other countries, right?
Really? I didn't know that.
Mhm. And there's this there's a YouTube channel called Abroad in Japan,
Mhm.
where they were doing like a punishment game, and the punishment for the Japanese people was to drink root beer. That was their punishment.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if it's just like overly sweet for them, or that taste is just not for them. Um, but it's really interesting that other cultures, root beer is something they find disgusting. And we love root beer. But I will
Right.
say one of the things I want to talk about is that the root beer that we have today is not actual root beer anymore, unfortunately.
Right.
Because I had done some research into this before when as you do when you're just curious and you're looking up the history of stuff. And what we used to do, for root beers, I think we used to use the sarsaparilla root,
Mhm.
and you actually are no longer legally allowed to use that, or at least the way that they had made root beer previously, you can't do that legally anymore
Right.
because it ended up becoming a carcinogen. It would give you cancer.
Everything
Uh,
eventually leads to cancer.
right, but this was like fast.
No, no,
Like,
I'm just
yeah.
messing.
I know what you mean. Like, living means cancer,
Yes.
but and so what we have now is essentially synthetic root beer rather
Okay.
than natural root beer, which I think has a more focused taste on vanilla
Mhm.
than the other stuff. But that's just like an interesting thing for me, that you have these drinks, like not just root beer, right? Like you have Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
You have these drinks that have changed so much over the years that you really can't consider it to be the original anymore. I mean, yes, Coca-Cola used to have cocaine, but that's not the only change that's happened, right? You've had the change from sugar to corn syrup and other stuff like that, which affect the taste. And so, sometimes I'm wondering, the drinks that we have right now that like, you see someone like, well, this used to be my favorite drink, but not anymore. And how often are we going to do that? Like, when do you think we might hit a point where it's like, man, I love Barq's root beer, and then they change their recipe, and 10 years down the line, you're like, man, this is just trash.
I mean, I think that it'll eventually happen because, like, with everything that's great, they change it in some small way and it just becomes awful. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, a lot of companies, especially companies that make tons of money off these things, they're not going to willingly change their recipe unless they're kind of forced to. Like you
Hmm.
said, with the things being deemed inappropriate or health concerning and stuff like that. But just for a second, let's take a step back and just think about this. It's something I haven't talked about yet, but I was going to. It's on my list of things. This is not necessarily a drink that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about artificial flavoring. Okay.
Okay.
I want to talk about how accurate and crazy some of these drinks are. I don't know if you've ever had a Bang or anything like
Mm-mm.
that.
I have
Basically,
not.
what it is it's carbonated. It's like a carbonated water mixed in with like creatine and like BCAAs and like it's not necessarily it's not supposed to be like a healthy drink. It's supposed to be drinking like as a pre-workout or like a post-workout drink because it's got your creatine in it, which a lot of bodybuilders and a lot of athletes use, and it's got BCAAs, which is your base chain amino acids, which is
Hmm.
basically gonna help you repair your muscles and stuff like that. Well, it's also 0 calories because it's basically just creatine and BCAAs mixed in water, but it's flavored. And when I think, or I don't know about you, but when I think about artificially flavored drinks, I'm thinking heavy dyes and coloring, right?
Hmm.
The crazy thing about Bang is as far as I know, is all the Bangs that I've ever tried have been clear. If you pour them into a glass, they are completely clear, and they can make them taste like anything. Like you taste it and literally it tastes like whatever they're making it taste like. And it's just so crazy that like if they were to change the recipe for root beer, right?
Hmm.
There's a possibility that even if they change the recipe completely, they could still make it taste like root beer even using completely different components
Hmm.
through artificial flavoring.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that with the food dyes and stuff, because that really is kind of like a big thing, right? Like you have your brown sodas and you have your clear sodas and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But like it it's funny that you have some of the stuff that like you think of that particular drink based on the color that it is,
Right.
when sometimes that color is added. Because
Right.
you
Like
mentioned,
like
the
Pepsi.
bang being, yeah, the bang being clear, and so this is not a drink, but sweet and sour chicken from Chinese restaurants.
Uh-huh.
Sweet and sour sauce is not actually red.
Right.
It's more of a clearish kind of hint of yellow because it's got like pineapple juice in it and stuff.
Right.
They add that food coloring to give it that red color, and that's all it is. It's just the red color. Like there's no added taste from the dyes. It's just to make it look red,
Right.
right? And then you have a similar Chinese dish. What is it called? I can't remember. It's a duck dish where the skin of the duck is a bright red color. It might be char siu, but that's not duck. But they dye it simply
Mm-hmm.
for aesthetics.
Right.
And there was this big pushback, or not just pushback. There was a callback to Crystal Pepsi a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pepsi that's completely clear, and in my opinion, tastes just the same.
You're right.
It's just some of those dyes aren't in there,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I think that stems from kind of the old world mentality of because that soft drinks like sodas and stuff used to be considered tonics. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're considered to be quote unquote medicine. Uh, and I think initially some of these food colorings or some of these dyes were added to ensure that it did not look like water so they could say it's some magical potion.
Right.
And then we just kind of kept with the food colorings.
Well, I know that Coca-Cola can be used as a home remedy to remove battery acid.
Yeah.
So, I
Mountain Dew
mean,
can be used to dissolve a rat. So,
the it's crazy, like to think. And most people, I've talked to a lot of people in and around my workplace and outside of work. It is crazy how few people actually drink water on a regular basis. You know,
I certainly don't.
I don't as much as I should, but I do way more than I used to. Bar the couple of times that I've went on the water only trend.
Right.
I've done that I think twice in my life now. I've gone pure water, and I have to say that I, from a personal standpoint, I can honestly say that I believe drinking water is better for me. I can't say that it's better for everyone, and but most health people say that drinking water is for you, but they throw a bunch of scientific evidence at you, and you're just like, well, it tastes awful. I hate the taste of water. But on the flip side of that, I have to say that both the times that I've done the water only thing, like I just had more mental clarity, more focus, more like drive. I wasn't as tired all the time.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that was the side effect of the water or maybe something else I was doing at the time, but after a month or two, like even the thought of drinking soda is kind of a put off. Like you're just like you'll be at a restaurant, they're like, so what do you have to drink? And everybody's ordering Dr. Pepper or Coke or Pepsi or whatever, and you're just like, ugh, no, I'll have water, thank you. Like just the thought of drinking soda at that point is kind of an off put, especially if that's the only thing that you've been drinking. But sodas are so addictively sweet. It's ridiculous.
Hmm.
And it's not just normal sodas either. It's diet sodas as well.
Yeah.
The diet sodas use artificial sweeteners that are up to 100 times more sweet than sugar. And it's just as hooked like it's just as addictive, if not more addictive. I had got down to where I was drinking maybe 1 or 2 cans of soda a day, the regular, sodas, and I was drinking water as my extra like liquids throughout the day. And when I switched to diet sodas, while they may be 0 calories or they say they're 0 calories, I honestly, they could be 4 calories for all I know because if it's less than 5, they can round to 0. I don't know if you
Right.
knew that, but in
Yeah.
the health industry, if it's less than 5 calories, they can round down to 0 and say that it's a 0 calorie drink. So it could have upwards of 4 calories in it. That's still not bad, but I might drink 10 diet sodas a day,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it can't be that much. It can't be that healthy for you in the long run, especially if you're not drinking water.
See, like I have a hard time just drinking water. Because well, I guess in my family we're a family of we'd rather drink our calories than eat them. Well, my mother and I are at least where like I've tried to do the only drinking water thing, and I can't do it because I don't. And this is gonna sound weird. I don't get as hydrated as I would otherwise if I were to drink non-water
It's
because
because
for some reason,
you drink less.
right? I have a glass of water and I'll just take a single sip. Nope, nope, that's good. That's all I need rather than drinking the whole glass.
But the thing about it
And
is, are you really though? Because like I thought the same thing, back whenever I was doing the water only thing, and part of me thinks that, like, when you drink, like, when me personally, when I drink a bottle of water, or I am drinking on a bottle of water, I might sip on that same bottle of water for like 6 hours. And every
mhm,
time I take like a little drink or a little sip or whatever, like, I'm not constantly thinking about drinking that water. Like, it's sitting there and I get a drink when I'm thirsty, right? It can sit there on my desk all day and I will only drink it whenever I hit that thirst limit, right?
mhm,
Like, I'll hit the thirst limit, I'll get it, I'll take a drink, and I'll set it back down. And it might take me 8 hours to drink a water bottle that's like 20 ounces.
mhm.
But transversely, if you set a soda or a Gatorade or a diet drink or anything else right there, I will constantly sip on it until it's gone. Even if it's only been 1 hour, I'll sip on it until it's gone. It doesn't matter the
Mhm.
size. It doesn't matter whether it's 12 ounces or 44 ounces. I will sit there and I will continuously sip it until it's gone. And then I'm still thirsty and I still want to drink. So while you are getting more liquids that way, I don't know that it's necessarily more hydration. It's just more fluid.
Yeah, well, I mean, like this might be personal, but you know that I have a bit of a problem with sweating, you know,
Right.
and so like I kind of need those fluids or especially if I'm out doing something,
Right.
right? Like because it can't be healthy to to have that much of a difference in in water loss, but I don't know, like so the drink that I've been really that I discovered a couple years ago now that I really like and that I've been doing instead of water is Bakari Sweat, which I know has a funny name, but it's a sports drink from Japan. And from my time over in Japan and just kind of my experiences, they don't put so much sugar in their drinks normally. You know,
Right.
America is kind of overloaded on sweetness and sugar, as you said. And so this sports drink to me is nowhere near the levels of Gatorade. Like, I mean, it's still a caloric drink, of course, but it's not as bad as like Gatorade. Um, and so I buy like the powder and I mix it with my water myself so I can make it as light as I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that is one of the things where it gives my water just enough flavor for me to be able to like drink it.
Right. And I mean,
And
there's nothing wrong with, like, water flavorings. That I the very first time I went water only, for the first like couple of weeks, I used the 0 calorie, like, Crystal Light flavor packs.
mhm,
And to be honest, like, I even drinking those, like, I could see a noticeable difference in my weight just by. But then again, I was drinking like heavy sugar sodas, and I went
mhm.
to that, and so, the difference in those is quite, astronomical. Whereas going from like a diet soda to water is not as big of a as a jump.
Right. And then I don't know. I will say most of my favorite drinks are very caloric drinks, just because I like the taste,
Hmm.
which is unfortunate. Like you said before, about how people say they don't like the taste of water. I know it's not water that I don't like the taste of.
Mhm.
It's the minerals they add that I
Yeah.
don't like. And so when I was little, I used to get so mad because I'd go get a bottle of water, and it's like, you know, we water vaporized with minerals added for taste. I'm like, just leave those out.
Yeah. Well,
Like
have you ever? Go ahead.
water is, a pH neutral thing, right?
Mhm.
And it's supposed to be mostly tasteless because there's nothing for your taste buds to recept to.
Yeah.
But every time, like, they add those minerals or they add electrolytes, and it's just like, stop it.
Yeah.
I'll get my minerals and my salts through food,
Right.
if I need it,
And I
rather
don't know if
than.
you can. I don't know if you can get pure water, but I know that there for a while, like you can try drinking distilled water, like
Mhm.
because I guess when you
That's
distill
as close as
water,
you can
like you
get, yeah.
can, that's as close as you can get. Now, me personally, I really like the kind of the smart water, and as far
Mhm.
as I know, it's just distilled water with electrolytes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing on the tag is distilled water, electrolytes added for taste. And
Because
out
if
of
I
all the
drink.
water that I've drank, that
Mhm.
one has got to be the best tasting to
Mhm.
me. I've tried they have a pH water, but to me that one tastes funny.
'Cause, like, I like smart water. That's one of the waters I'll drink. The problem is that it gets so expensive
Right.
because it's name brand and
It's not cheap. It's not as cheap as the 97-cent gallons of water that you can buy at Walmart.
right. And at some point you gotta, like, I mean, be healthy, but don't spend all of your money.
But at the same time, is it more expensive than like buying sodas? I don't know
Yeah.
about I don't know if you buy sodas. I buy a lot of sodas.
When I do, I get them from like Kroger, Walmart on those deals.
Let's see if I buy sodas though, right? Like I might spend $6 on a 24 pack, but it's only gonna
Hmm.
last me like 2 days, maybe
Oh,
three
no, no, no,
days.
yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
like, when I
Like
buy a 24 pack, that lasts me like 4 weeks.
so. Like me personally, I could probably get away with buying smart water and stuff like that. In fact, for a while, I'm not trying to like I'm not rich or anything, and I don't make a whole lot of money. But for a while, all I drank was Evian,
Oh, yeah.
just because to me it tastes really good. That's all I drank because one of the guys I was watching on YouTube at the time, that's all he drank, and so like. I was like, oh, well, I might look like him if that's all I drink. Of course, come to find out he was on some illegal substances
Yeah,
along with
these people that
that
aren't natural.
Evian. It the more I get into kind of like the fitness, like I'm not fit yet, but
Hmm.
I would like to be, and so I do a lot of research on fitness and like these bodybuilders and these athletes and stuff like that, and looking at pictures of older athletes, right? And
Hmm.
I'm just thinking to myself, so many of these YouTubers, these fitness influencers and stuff like that, they look unnaturally sculpted.
Yeah.
Like if you look at some of these ripped dudes from like World War I, World War II, like these athletes, from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, like the strong men from the circus,
Hmm.
and pictures all the way back to when were the first pictures in like the 1920s, 1930s, somewhere around in there.
1880s.
Well, I'm talking.
1880s.
Not that far back, but like in the early 1900s. Like whenever they had like the strongmen and stuff like that. And they'd
Hmm.
be out there with their huge weights and stuff like that. They're not built like the people are today, right?
Well, because, like, I'll say, like,
Because
one of the major differences that you've noticed, kind of, not only in bodybuilding but in like fitness in general,
hmm
is um the cut down on fat, right?
right,
Where, I mean, it used to be like, when you go and you see fantasy, like, books or movies or stuff, usually that guy that's really strong is really big, really heavy.
yeah,
Um, and that's because it takes a lot of muscle to move, the weight that he has. But like right now we're in this thing that of you have to get your fat down to like 0%, right? Because we were talking about I don't remember who we were talking about at the time, but like they were working out pretty hard, but you didn't see definition because their body fat was at like 10%.
Yeah.
And some people try to get that down to 2% just so you could see the definition of the muscles. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily healthy,
It's not.
right?
No,
Because
like you don't wanna be below 5%.
and at the same
Like,
time,
because if you're below 5%, you're like dead.
you don't just have that. Okay, you have to cut your body fat, right? And this is a very, I would say, damaging thing that's been happening in Hollywood right now, because you have beauty standards. Men in Hollywood, whenever they want to look ripped, go on a water fast, right? They
Hmm.
they dehydrate themselves over 3 or 4 days so that their muscles stand out more, and that's not healthy.
No.
I mean, our muscles are good, but they're not necessarily have to be seen. You know,
Like for
whether or
me,
not you can.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna
I was
say
gonna say,
for me, I would preferably like to be in the like 18% to
hmm
20% range. I know right now currently I'm probably in the mid 30s
hmm
or probably around 30. But I'd like to cut that by about 10% total. Like cuz I carry a lot of my weight in my torso and in my midsection
hmm
than anywhere else. Like people say that like the lower body fat percentage you have, the more you can see your veins, the more your skin is tight, right? Well,
hmm
like what's so weird about me is my body composition. Like from my elbows down, my skin is real like thin and like I can see veins in the back of my hands,
hmm
you know, and I can
Yeah.
see veins in my feet and in my lower legs. But then like my mid section, like from my knees to my neck, is just like a bunch of extra weight. And
hmm
it's not muscle, it's just I carry a lot of fat there. But I think
Yeah.
that's because like they say, now it's not the same for everybody, but I know for me, I lose weight in my arms and my legs and my face first, then I start losing weight in my midsection. And so like whenever I got down to, let's see, right now I'm right around 233. And when I got down to about 210, 212, that's whenever I really started to see my stomach kind of flattening down.
hmm
But then when I got off my quote unquote diet, when I got off my diet, or I stopped eating healthy is what I did, because I was never really on a diet. I was just trying to make more health conscientious choices. I was choosing chicken over beef. I was choosing, broccoli over fries. I was choosing, well, to be honest, really any vegetable over, greasy fried foods, you
hmm
know. And just doing that on a day-to-day basis, like I lost quite a bit of weight, coupled with working out slash walking. I lost quite a bit of weight, but whenever I started gaining the weight back, I gained it all back in the stomach area. I didn't
hmm
gain weight back in my arms and my legs. I only gained it in the stomach area. And it was kind of weird for me because it felt like I was getting fatter even though I wasn't really getting, I was only gaining a little bit of weight, but I was gaining it all right in the stomach,
Right.
which is unfortunate.
It's, I don't know. Like I had a thing. When I came back from Japan, I had lost 15 pounds.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that was because of diet or exercise, but it was unfortunate that like I slowly started to gain it back when I got back to America.
Yeah.
And then last October, I don't I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if I fell into a depressive spiral or you know what, but I gained like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
in that 3 month period. So like I've just been trying to steadily lose that throughout the year, and I think I'm almost back down to where I was in October.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was one of those things like how quickly you can gain weight is kind of insane.
Right.
Like it's a very slow gradual to lose it, but to gain it you only need like 1 or 2 weeks.
See, the thing about it is like people talk about weight loss all the time, and as somebody who's struggled with weight and weight loss most of my life, like a large part of it comes down to diet, but another
Hmm.
part of it, and a very serious part of it, is you have to get your heart rate elevated and enough to start burning calories. And the thing about me personally is I'm very like I'm a little I'm overweight is basically what it is. I'm overweight, but I'm still athletic. Like
Mm.
I can go hiking, and as long if I'm not running up the mountain, I barely even get my heart rate above 100 beats a minute. Like because even though I'm overweight, I'm still kind of an athletic type of person. I have to really push myself to get my heart rate elevated into like the whatever it's called, the anabolic threshold or anaerobic
Hmm.
threshold or whatever it
Yeah.
is, that sweet spot between like 110 and 120 or 110 and 130, whatever it is. I don't
Hmm.
remember. But like I have to really push myself to get there. The problem is I can walk all day long. Keeping my heart rate under 100, I can walk all day long. I don't have to take breaks. I don't have to take rests. I can literally just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, like
Hmm.
literally forever. It seems like. But then as soon as I hit that 110, I can go for like a minute and then I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't got no more gas in the tank. That's
Well, it's
done.
funny because like you know I wasn't the healthiest child growing up. I got sick a lot. Um, and part of that has affected my adult life, where like I by standing or just doing basic stuff, my heart rate will go up to 90.
Mhm.
So like when we go on those hikes, right? You're like nonplussed. You're like, yeah, this is a great day, and then you look behind and there's me, and I'm just kind of like dying because my heart's at like 130,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate because there's sometimes I get mad at myself, but there's nothing I can really do. Well, like there's some stuff I can do, but nothing I can do in the short term
Yeah.
to kind of fix that. Like it's just my body itself, is not great at activity.
Well, it's kind of crazy you say that, because we were talking about different people and how things affect different people differently. And I don't want to say that I'm better than you because I'm not. Like, but it's kind of weird, like me personally, I don't have allergies.
Hmm.
I don't have allergies to pollen. I don't have allergies to. I don't think I have a single allergy, to be completely honest with you. If I do, I don't know about it. You know, like I'm not allergic to anything. And even though I'm overweight, like I've always just been more athletic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you on the other hand, you have several allergies and you're just not super athletic.
Hmm.
But that's just, I guess, a difference in genetics. Like one of us has a little bit like, that's one of the things that I see this YouTuber all the time talking about that I watch, and I won't mention them by name, but they probably know who they are if they were to ever see this. But like, they're always talking about genetics. You can work out like as hard as you possibly want to. If you genetically don't have the striations or whatever in your abs or the vein placement of your abs, you will never have a six pack if you don't have the genetics for a six pack, right?
Hmm.
Because it doesn't matter how slim you get, if you don't have those specific veins in the specific places, it won't create a six pack. You might have five, or you might have four, or you might have seven, or you might have eight. Because that
Hmm.
is technically possible. You can have eight. It's just very uncommon, right? And like most people, like you can't even see your abs, whether you have them or not, unless you're I'd say about 16% body fat or less.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a general rule of thumb. That's not for everyone, you know. But like you were right. Like when we go on hikes, and I think a large part of that is like the way that I work. You know, like I'm forced to be on my feet for probably 10 out of 12 hours in every shift, right? So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
on my feet more, I'm walking more. Like sometimes I just get tired of sitting and I have to stand. And like when I'm at work, like I sit when I'm at home because I have stuff to do, you know, on my computer and stuff like that. But like whenever I'm at work, like sometimes I just don't sit down because I know if I sit down I won't want to get back up. So like even when I'm on break and stuff, I'll just stand there. I'll
Mm-hmm.
just stand in the break room, or I'll stand outside, or I'll stand in the office with my supervisor and just wait, you know. Everybody else will just be sitting down and like just chilling, and I'm just like standing there, and you know, they're like, "Why don't you sit down?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good."
And
Like I
then the other thing for me that like makes it hard for me sometimes for this athletic stuff is not only am I not as athletically inclined, I also don't do very well outside.
right.
So like I could do, you know, a 2 or 3 hour workout uh indoors,
Mhm.
but as soon as we go outside, I drastically like get affected because like
Like
it gets too hot for
decline.
me
Yeah.
and because I guess I overheat really easily.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so you've seen me on some of those hikes where like I just overheat and I have to stop for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, but then again, you're 90% of the time you're going by my pace, and my pace is not what you need to be at.
but even then like so we haven't seen it much here because we live in a pretty warm climate.
Yeah.
But when I was in Japan and I went hiking with some friends there, the air was cooler and I steamed quite a lot. Like we'd be hiking up in the mountains and you could just see steam rising from my body. Um, and the others were pretty much okay, but I just
Right.
had a lot of steam coming off my body because I overheat so easily.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I think that just comes down to genetics, or you know, at the very least, my childhood. You
Mhm.
know, and the way that I grew up. Because you know, exercise and proper diet when you're young can very much lead to a much healthier adult life.
Yeah. See, that's one
And
of the things. That's one of the things that I really dislike about my childhood. It's like
mhm,
we weren't ever taught. I don't want to say that my parents were bad parents. I want to say that my parents wanted to prepare me for life, but life as from their perspective.
mhm,
So neither one of my parents went to college, or they never. Well, I think my dad did, but he did not graduate. Like they prepared me from a young age. Like they taught me how to do laundry, they taught me how to do dishes, they taught me how to be self-sufficient, but they didn't ever really push me or my brother or my sister to ever go far in life. They never pushed us to pursue a college education. They never pushed us to eat healthy. You know, my teeth are not all that great because they never even told us to brush our teeth. Like we maybe when we were very very little, but I don't remember my mom ever being like, "Hey, you need to brush your teeth," or "Hey, you need to make sure you brush your teeth before bed." I don't ever remember that.
mm,
Like we didn't brush our teeth growing up. And, you know, in my high school years, like a lot of people gave me a real bad time because I had real bad breath, and like I just played it off because I didn't know what was causing it. And like we didn't have toothbrushes at the house, so I would be like, "Oh, well, you know, my brother used my toothbrush to clean the toilet," or you know, I would just make stuff up because like I didn't want to be like, "Yeah, my mom doesn't buy us toothbrushes.
mm,
Like we don't brush our teeth." Like and so like my teeth were really bad for a really long time, and here about a year or two ago, it was the last year. It was right before quarantine. So last January, February, around in there, I went and had my teeth cleaned really good and like had the whole mouth done and everything. And like it's still a struggle. I'm 29 years old, and it's still a struggle for me to remember to brush my teeth every day.
Mhm.
Like, and especially like coupled with depression on top of that, like some days, I just don't brush my teeth, and then I'll think about it like 3 days later, and I'm like, oh no, I haven't brushed my teeth. I need to brush them, and so I'll brush them real good that day, but then I might go another day or two without, because I just forget, because
Mhm.
it's not a habit that was instilled in me in youth, and it's such a hard habit to remember to do. And I don't know how to make myself do it. Like I can't remember, and I mean I've even set reminders on my phone, and I'll still forget.
Mhm.
But like I never fail to do my laundry. I never don't have clean clothes. I can't remember the last time I woke up and was like, oh crap, I don't have a clean pair of pants, or oh crap, I don't have a clean shirt. Like I
Mhm.
always I wash clothes like every time I'm off work. I wash at least one load of
Mhm.
laundry. You know, I do the dishes when I need to. It's not like I don't have a whole lot of dishes. We use a whole lot of paper and stuff, but
Yeah.
it, environmentally friendly. Anyway, let's get back to drinks real quick because we went off on several crazy tangents. But this is the culmination of randomness. Um, Another drink that I really like, and I like it in both its regular and its diet forms, and that's Dr. Pepper. Like,
Mhm.
I've never been a huge fan of Coca-Cola. Like, it's okay, but like I love Dr. Pepper, like almost as much as I love root beer.
Mhm. I'll say like one of my favorite drinks is definitely cherry Dr Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, right? But whenever you drink that, it's so smooth, and
Yeah.
I like the taste, and it's just like I don't get that from any other drink, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I mean, of course, I'm not supposed to know the chemical composition because that's classified, that's business. But it is just so different from other soft drinks.
So
You know where.
one of the things that's kind of crazy that you mentioned that. So I have cherry on here in quotes on my little drink chart, or on my little drink list thing that I wrote down.
Mhm.
Dr. Pepper is a great soda, right? Cherry Dr.
Mhm.
Pepper, like you said, is wonderful. I love cherry Dr. Pepper. But there there are tons of knockoffs of every soda, really. Every soda has a
Right.
knockoff, right?
Right. Mhm.
But they don't differentiate that much. Little bit here and there. This one might be a little bit sweeter. That one might be a little bit this. This one might be a little
Mhm.
bit that. Dr. Pepper, on the other hand, is singularly unique. None of
Mhm.
the other knockoffs that call themselves Dr. Pepper come close to matching it.
Mhm.
Like, it's just a wonderful blend of flavors. They say 23 flavors or whatever, but it's a wonderful blend of soda. But there is a soda, and a lot of people say that it tastes like Dr. Pepper. But okay, so there's two different versions of this. There's Mr. Pibb and there's
Mhm.
Mr. Pibb Extra.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
the Mr. Pibb Extra on the bottle says a sour cherry flavored soda. And to me, it is the closest drink on the planet that I've ever tasted that tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Hmm.
But it's not marketed as Dr. Pepper. It's not marketed as a Dr. Pepper knockoff. It's just Mr. Pibb Extra. And it tastes so similar. It doesn't have that overpowering cherry flavor. It's got like a subtle hint of cherry. But to
Mhm.
me, it is the closest thing to regular Dr. Pepper that you can get. I don't know if you ever had it, but I recommend
I haven't
trying
had
it at
extra. I
least
mean, I've had
once.
Mr. Pibb, but not Mr. Pibb Extra.
See, Mr. Pibb to me doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper. It tastes similar, but it's not close enough to call it, like in the same realm. But the Mr. Pibb Extra, for some reason, and it might be the same as Mr. Pibb, I don't know. I just know that it said Mr. Pibb Extra on the bottle. I bought it at Walmart. But it was just so close. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't get Dr. Pepper. This is Mr. Pibb. But it says on the bottle, sour cherry cola.
Man, we were talking we were talking like 30 minutes ago about drinks changing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a drink I used to love, and I would always buy it in bulk whenever they had it. And they stopped making it like, I don't know, 10 years ago now, maybe more. And that was Pepsi Holiday Spice.
I don't know that I've ever had it.
I don't know what was in there, but it was one of the most delicious sodas I had ever had. And like every time, like they'd only have it around Christmas time, and we would always just like buy out their stock because it was always so good. And then they just stopped making it. And there's sometimes you get some of these drinks or brands that have like a flavor that is just like on point. And you're like, that is my flavor. And sometimes it's unfortunate when those flavors get discontinued.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Red Bull, right? Like I don't drink Red Bull very often because they really are unhealthy for you. But like Red Bull come out with a winter edition. I think it was last year. No, it was in 2019 into 2020. It was plum. It was like plum flavored Red Bull. And that Red Bull, it was in a purple can, was the best Red Bull I have ever had, ever. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, and this is probably like not good for me, but I had at least one every day. Like I would say at least 5 times out of every week, I had one every single day for the entire run of that product. Because it was just so good. I wanted one every single morning. And then they just discontinued it because it was a winter edition, right? But they didn't bring it back the next winter. They brought out something different, and I was just so disappointed because I really, really loved it. But so Red Bull, I've always liked Red Bull more than I've liked Monsters. Like I hate the taste of Monster. I like the taste of Red Bull. And then when they branched out from Red Bull and then they made 3 alternates. They made the yellow, the red, and the blue. Yeah. I liked the blue more than I liked the other 2, but I still like the original Red Bull. It wasn't until they came out with the tangerine flavored Red Bull that was like my go-to Red Bull. Tangerine was like my go-to Red Bull. Like I loved that one. I would have one anytime I wanted a Red Bull, or if I wanted that specific flavor or that specific taste. Like there was just something so refreshing and so amazing about drinking a tangerine flavored Red Bull. And then shortly after they discontinued the plum Red Bull, I went back to drinking my tangerine Red Bull. Then they just discontinued it.
Again?
No, they discontinued the tangerine. Like, there was no warning. Like, it had been in production for, like... And part of me thinks maybe it was due to COVID, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not... Red Bull is not, like, a necessary business. I'm thinking maybe because of COVID, they had to limit their product distribution or their product...
Maybe. Yeah.
Or maybe it just wasn't selling as well. But they sold the Tangerine Red Bull for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden they just whacked it off the shelves. And I'm just like, what the heck? But I don't know. They might still make it. I haven't looked online or anything. I've just looked locally. But it reminds me of when we were in high school. I was really into... I said I didn't like Monster. There was one Monster I liked. One. And it was called Mixed. And it was a grape-flavored Monster. And it was like juice and Monster together.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It was my favorite. And they discontinued it. And it was so weird because it was like it was on the shelves one day and then it was just never on the shelves. And I'm like, why would they just discontinue this? Doesn't make any sense. Well, one day I was in Missouri, right? And I saw it in a store in Missouri. And I'm like, what the heck? They still make this? So I bought like 5 of them while we were in Missouri. Well, my ex, she was my girlfriend, I think at the time. She found out because she was working at a store, and the Monster guy would come in and take inventory. She asked him one day. She's like, "My boyfriend really likes this Monster." She's like, "But we can't seem to find it in Arkansas, but we found it in Missouri." And he was like, "Oh, well, they just discontinued it in this state."
Huh.
I'm like, "What?" And so like she was asking him, she's like, "Why did they do that?" He's like, "It just doesn't sell in Arkansas, so they just stopped selling it."
That's weird.
And I'm like, "I've never heard that before. Like I've never heard of them specifically stop selling something in just one state and keep selling it other places."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't just one state, it was a bunch of different states that they stopped selling it in, but I just never heard that before. Like they're like, "Yeah, the demographic just doesn't like it here, so we're just not going to sell it here." I mean, from a
I mean, it
business,
makes sense.
it does make sense
But,
from a business perspective, but at the same time, I
yeah.
didn't realize that they were keeping such a close tab on their demographic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
They weren't keeping close enough tab. They had one customer right here, damn it.
Yeah, but you know how it is. One customer
Yeah.
doesn't you know
What happened to customer
outrank
loyalty?
outrank the thing. So
Yeah.
um
I'll tell you another thing like that. It's not the healthiest. Well, of course, all of these drinks are not the healthiest, right? The drinks that
right
we enjoy are not the healthiest.
right.
But brisk lemon tea,
Mhm.
I could drink all day.
I loved brisk lemon tea in the can. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
lie.
Like it's one of those drinks. I open it, and then the can is gone,
Yeah.
like in like 2 gulps, and I'm like, where did my drink go? Because
Right.
I don't know if it's just refreshing or if it's what it is. Because for some reason I don't necessarily like lemon in my tea,
Uh
which
huh.
is weird. Like if I make tea, I don't like to put lemon in it. But brisk lemon tea, I don't know why, is just so good to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I've tried like just like putting lemon juice in my tea or doing stuff like that, and it's just not the same.
It's probably a combination of the tea, the sugar, and whatever else they put in there.
Maybe
I remember
because
when I
then
was I
I
remember
had tried their sweet tea, the brisk sweet tea, and it just
mhm.
wasn't that good. But the
Yeah,
lemon tea,
no. The lemon tea is the best. I remember when I was a kid, I can't remember which two I combined. I remember what 2 drinks I combined. I just don't remember. But like I just remember thinking to myself, if you combine brisk tea and Hawaiian punch, it tasted like another like soda, and I had this crazy thought in my mind that's how that's how they were making the other soda. They were literally just making brisk
oh,
and making Hawaiian punch and pouring them into the same thing and mixing them up, and that was how they got the other drink. But I don't remember what the other drink was.
I
I
remember
I was real young, like I was like
I used to
7.
mix Dr Pepper and root beer at Burger King.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
I don't know what my sister used to get. I don't remember in what combination, but she got the same combination every time. So, like, but it tasted like cough syrup.
Oh God.
And it was awful. And she got it every time because she loved the taste of it. And I don't remember in what, but she had like a specific formula. She was like, half the cup is this, 1 squirt of this, 2 squirts of that, 1 squirt of this, 2 squirts of that, and it was like from right to left across the thing. She knew
Hmm.
exactly what it was, and she got it every time.
Ugh.
It was awful. It was
Yeah,
awful.
I mean, like cough syrup just makes me gag. Like I've gotten there was a point I was sick. I don't know, several years ago now, I think, and I had gotten medicine and I took it down, and then man, I threw that right back up because of the taste.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm not a big fan.
Right. I'm not a fan of medicines in general. Like, other than like the occasional Tylenol, I really don't take medicine.
Mm,
Like,
must be
I,
nice.
I don't take Tylenol. I don't Tylenol. I meant Dayquil. I don't take Dayquil or NyQuil or like any
Hmm.
kind of allergy medicines. I have Excedrin, and that's it, which is technically two medicines. It's aspirin. I think it's aspirin and acetaminophen and ibuprofen, I think is what it is. No,
Okay.
it's acetaminophen and aspirin.
Okay.
But that's all I take, and the only reason I take it is because I have occasional migraines.
Hmm.
But those are hereditary, so it's not like I have too much caffeine or too much sugar. They're hereditary. My mom has them, and now I have them. Hooray!
I don't know. I prefer to take my medicines in pill form if I can,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
simply because I have too many bad memories of liquid medicine. Just because, like I mean, I've told you before how sick I was as a child, but the amount of medicine I had to take, it's kind of ruined my experience
Yeah.
going forward. So if I
Right.
can take a medicine without tasting it, that is preferable. And I actually took a Dayquil right before this podcast. I took some of the pills because
Mm-hmm.
I'm suffering from sprain allergies pretty bad,
Yeah.
and like I have an allergy medication that I take every day, but at this time of year, it's just too bad, and I got to take other stuff. Back to drinks, though. Sorry, I keep getting on
Oh
tangents.
no, no, you're good. You're good.
I'll tell you one of the few drinks where I am a fan of almost every flavor is Mountain Dew.
Yeah. I have
Like
to
there's
admit, even on my diet drink fast and everything like that, I have to try new Mountain Dews.
uh-huh.
I have to. I have to try new ones. If I see one that I've never tried before, I have to try it.
There's only one that I am very disappointed in,
Hmm.
which is Dew SA, because it's like they took
Was that
Code Red,
the Code Red, Whiteout, and
Voltage, and Voltage,
Voltage?
yeah, and like they just
Yeah.
poured it in the same thing,
Yeah.
like because those flavors don't really mix.
Yeah. There's one that's out now called Frostbite, and
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of different flavored dews. It doesn't say that on the bottle, but I think it is.
Mm.
There was one that I was a little disappointed in. Like every one that I've had, my of course, many years ago they had the choose your dew or whatever, where they had like the pink and the green and the voltage. I can't
Yeah.
remember what the other two were. I remember voltage was one of the three, and I'm so glad that voltage won because it was my favorite out of the three.
Right.
But where was I going with that? The same thing happened, I think, with Whiteout. I think Whiteout was a one of three as well, and it won out of its one of three.
I like
Um,
Whiteout.
I like Whiteout. I didn't say I didn't. I was just saying it was another one out of three.
Hmm.
But Voltage is good. Whiteout is good. But every year around Halloween time, they have a Voodoo, and it's supposed to be like a mystery flavored dew. And like the first year that I had it, it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I think I had one. The second one I had was I don't know if it was supposed to be the same flavor as the year before, or maybe I just misremembered the flavor. But do you remember the mystery flavored Dum Dum suckers, the white ones?
Yeah, I used to love those.
Okay, it was literally like Mountain Dew produced that in liquid form and poured it into a bottle.
Hmm.
Because Voodoos are white. They're like a white, like kind of milky whitish color.
Hmm.
And like literally it tasted like drinking liquid mystery suckers.
Which is funny because the mystery suckers were essentially just all the leftover flavors combined.
Yeah, like it was so weird. Like I don't know. It was like sucking on a dum dum, but like drinking it. Very weird. Very weird. I've tried the watermelon Mountain Dew that recently came out. I can't say that I'm a huge fan. It's all right.
I don't think I liked that one.
But like right now, I have a can. It sits on my shelf. It's empty, obviously, because I drank it and I rinsed it out. But it's Mountain Dew Violet, from Japan. Although
Oh, okay.
I bought it
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
America. But it does strike me as odd though. Like I look at it all the time. It's kind of crazy, the fact that it's a smaller can, than in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like
Like because I think it's only like 8 ounces instead of like 12,
mhm.
because we have 12 ounces here. And then if you look at the ingredients, like basically it's a lighter version of our Pitch Black.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a purple flavored Mountain Dew, but like when I drank it, like it didn't taste like drinking a Mountain Dew because like the sugar content was nowhere near what it is here in the United States.
Yeah. Well, cuz like there was what was that soda I used to drink? Hold on, I'm trying to think.
Talking about
Oh, yeah.
the one you're allergic
There
to, Sprite.
No, 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 no. In Japan there's a soda called
Uh huh.
Match C, which I really liked, which is like hard to describe.
Mhm.
Um it's kind of it was like it's supposed to be like a lemon, I think,
Mhm.
flavored soda, but like it wasn't super sweet, but it was really really addictive.
Hmm.
And it had that taste like I can't describe it. And even when you're like sipping it, you're like I don't know how to describe this taste.
Yeah, I've
Um
had a few drinks like that.
but that was really good. And then I had tried one time when I was over there. It was a Coca-Cola Orange before they had it over here.
Mhm.
And I wasn't necessarily a big fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not a. See, I'm just not a big fan of Coke in general. And then when they want to add all these flavors into it,
Hmm.
like I do not like any cherry vanilla. I don't like any vanilla flavored
Oh
soda
yeah,
out of a bottle.
other
Or I don't like
yeah,
any
except root
vanilla
beer.
except for root beer. Root beer, but root beer doesn't taste like vanilla. Like
It does though. Root
it
beer
tastes
actually
like
tastes like vanilla.
not to me though.
Hmm.
Like it tastes like root beer. But that's not the point. But like when I drink like remember vanilla Coke was big when we were in middle school, right?
Yeah, I never liked it. Hmm.
I hated it. It tasted awful. It tasted like garbage, you know? And then they come out with like vanilla Pepsi, and then they got cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper because they had cherry Dr. Pepper and it's good. Cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper and it's just awful. It's just
Hmm.
awful. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like it doesn't taste like vanilla. It tastes like not vanilla. I
Right.
don't know what it tastes like, but it's not vanilla taste. Because if root beer has got vanilla in it, it tastes like vanilla. But I don't know. It's like some different formula that they use for their vanilla, or maybe they use too much extract or too little extract. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah. So any more random drinks that we want to talk about that we like or hate?
Uh, I'll just mention it because we've talked about it on a previous podcast. I love fruit juice,
Yeah.
and we'll move past that to something that I can't stand. Like, okay, I'm gonna say one that I really hate.
What's that?
Um, which other people seem to love, which is it's called cheer wine.
Never heard of it.
Uh, it's it's just a cherry flavored soda,
Hmm.
and every time I drink it, like you're saying that your sister got that cocktail that tastes like cough
Yeah.
syrup. It tastes like cough syrup to me. It tastes like cherry cough syrup, and I cannot stand it. And I'd be with other people and like, oh my god, this is great. I'm like, this makes me want to throw up.
What's wrong with you? It's like you love that? Ugh, no. I can't say the only drink that I really just I hate and I can't drink it is like grapefruit juice.
Really?
I cannot drink or like I hate grapefruit juice. I can't think. I've been thinking this entire time. I can't think of another drink that I hate. Like I can drink just about anything. Like if I have to. Like if there was nothing else to drink and they were like, say I was at a barbecue or something, they're like, yeah, this is all we have. It's either that or nothing. Like the only one that I would have to pass on is like grapefruit juice. Like if it was grapefruit juice, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'll just not drink anything, thank you. I guess if it was alcohol, I wouldn't drink that either.
I mean,
but
like
I would drink alcohol over grapefruit juice. And I don't like alcohol. I hate alcohol, but I would drink alcohol over grapefruit juice.
Like we have been talking about soft drinks, but I hate the taste of beer. Just with a passion.
Like I think one of the reasons why I dislike beer is like I don't know if it's like a mental block on alcohol or something like that. Because a lot of people are like, oh, alcohol tastes great, or oh, it tastes good, or oh, you don't drink it for the taste, you drink it for the feeling. I hate the taste. Like I equate alcohol to grapefruit juice in a sense of like when people ask me, they're like, well, why don't you drink beer? Or why don't you like alcohol? I'm like, well, I don't like grapefruit juice, so I don't drink it. I don't like the taste of grapefruit juice, so I don't drink it. It's not that I hate grapefruit. I can eat grapefruit. I've eaten grapefruit.
Oh,
I hate grapefruit
God.
juice.
I've been an idiot this whole time.
What?
I forgot that there's a fruit called grapefruit.
Oh.
I thought you were just being verbose and saying grape juice.
No. No. I love grape juice. No, I hate grapefruit juice.
Oh, that makes much more sense. Okay.
I love grapes, and I love grape juice. I hate grapefruit juice. It's like the orange things, but they're red instead of orange.
No, I got you. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. They're awful. Grapefruit juice is awful. Whoever invented it needs to go back to the Stone Ages or something. I don't know.
God, you made a bad decision with this evolution chain.
Like grapefruits, like by themselves, are okay, but whoever decided that they were gonna milk them into crates of juice,
well,
awful.
They're just so sour, right? I mean,
well, I don't know what it is about them. Like, I don't know what it is about the juice. The juice is just awful. Like, the fruit itself is not bad. I guess because it's got some texture to it. It's not bad. But the juice, like milking a grapefruit into juice form, is just awful. It's just awful to me. I hate the taste of it, so I won't drink it. But at any time people are like, well, like, why don't you drink alcohol? You just don't want to get drunk. And I'm like, no, I don't drink grapefruit juice because I hate the taste of it. So I don't drink alcohol because I hate the taste of it. I hate the taste of alcohol. Because whatever it is in alcohol, I taste something. Like,
it's alcohol.
But I don't know what it is. Is it the hops? Is it this? Or is it the...
No, okay, so, like, I mean, I hate the taste of hops and beer, but, like, alcohol, the actual taste of alcohol is not pleasant. Like, if you just drink just a straight thing of, like, vodka, because I've seen people who, like, sip vodka or sip whiskey.
So
I don't know how you can do that.
I was at this thing one time with, it was me and a buddy of mine, you know him. I won't mention him by name on stream because I don't know if he ever watches this stream, so he'll remain nameless. But you know who I'm talking about. You have to know who I'm talking about, especially once I get into this next part. You'll know who I'm talking about. So there was this guy that we used to hang out with. He was friends with my ex, and
okay, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. Well, anyway, so it was me and him and a couple other people, and we were all at like this little house party thing or whatever. And they were like trying to make me a drink that I could drink that had alcohol in it, but that I would drink. And I was like, that has alcohol in it. I can't drink it. I can taste the alcohol. They're like, so they started giving me all these different drinks, and they were like, just taste this, just taste this. And like, nope, has alcohol in it. Nope, has alcohol in it. And then like they gave me this drink, and I think that they were thinking that maybe I was just saying it. And I was like, oh, this one's good. It doesn't have any alcohol in it. They're like, it doesn't. How do you know that? I'm like, because I can taste it.
Yeah.
What kind of idiots do you think I am? You think I'm making it up? This is literally just Coke and Dr. Pepper mixed together. And they're like, we thought you were just saying it tasted like alcohol. Why would I do that? What sense does that make?
Well, because I mean, maybe some people don't have the receptors to taste alcohol, but like my brother and I very much do.
They
I
thought I
drink
was
wines.
joking.
Yeah, I can't drink wines because I can taste the alcohol. But I will say there was a workaround I found one time. I was actually with you, I think. It was a different time, but at that same guy's house, where I took a shot of straight spiced rum.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, everyone says this is supposed to be delicious. So I did that and got an overload of alcohol. And then when I went back and did one of those like Mike's Hard Lemonades or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
My tongue was so overshot on the alcohol from the rum that I could no longer taste the alcohol in that Mike's Hard Lemonade. And so, because at the time I'm like, oh my god, this is actually really good. So I went and I bought it at a later date and took a drink. I'm like, darn it, this is not what I remember tasting. And
I think
it's because.
Go ahead.
It was just because like I had such that strong taste of alcohol that when you had something that had much less, I didn't taste it anymore.
Mm-hmm. I've tried.
Because it's like if you go and eat like a Laffy Taffy,
mm-hmm.
and then try to drink a slightly sweetened juice or something, that juice will taste bitter. Because like you just don't register the sweetness.
Interesting. I've never done that.
Yeah, because like if you're eating candy and then go and drink like a sweet beverage, you'll see how much like not sweet it is after that, which is interesting. But yeah, so like I overloaded the receptors or something, and I just didn't taste it for a second. But alcohol has a very definite taste.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe just some people don't have the taste bud receptors to get that, but it's very noticeable.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact that like to me, like I can taste it. In fact, I can't name a single alcoholic beverage that I've ever been able to finish. I think the closest one I ever got to finishing was either a Smirnoff Ice, or I think there was a Corona that I almost finished one time. I think I almost finished a Mike's Hard Lemonade one time. But all three of those occasions, I was literally just trying to drink it because of peer pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm not even gonna sugarcoat that. I was being peer pressured hard, and I was really trying to finish it, and it really wasn't happening.
There's one cocktail that I actually like that I will go and make myself on occasion.
Is it the one with coffee in it that you made?
No.
Oh.
No. This is what's it called? A fuzzy navel. It's considered a girly drink, but I don't care. I like the taste of that, and if I ever go to a bar, that's exactly what I'm getting. Screw beer. It is orange juice mixed with peach schnapps in an equal amount. And it's one of the few things I've had where I'm like, I took a drink, and it just tasted good to me.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I didn't taste the alcohol, and I'm like, yeah, this tastes pretty good. It's one of the only cocktails I've had that I'm like, yeah, I can't taste the alcohol in this, but most others, I can taste it.
Yeah, that's the problem with me is I hate the taste. I hate the taste of alcohol, and there's just nothing. There's nothing I can do, or there's nothing I've ever been able to figure out how to do to get rid of that.
Because I'll make that drink for you sometime, just for you to have a taste, and then I'll finish it off myself. Because it's one of the few cocktails that I actually like. Where I have to actually be focused and say, okay, I only have one of these, because otherwise I'll drink them like it's a regular drink. And it does still have alcohol in there. So if I just keep drinking as I would normally drink, I'd be on my face in
Right.
at a short time period. Just like there was one thing I had yesterday, the day before, that was pretty good. I mean, like I'll drink it again, but I wouldn't go out of my way for it. It was a watermelon margarita mix
Mhm.
that I mixed with Sprite Zero, and I wasn't paying attention, and I downed that glass like it was a regular soft drink. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna make another one of these.
Mhm.
But no, like, yeah, I mean, like ethanol and stuff like that, like it has a definite taste. Like if people can taste menthol, how can they not taste, alcohol?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't, to be honest, like the thing about it is like everybody's taste buds are different.
Hmm.
And my biggest thing is like don't down somebody because they have different taste buds than you do.
Right.
Like, it might be your most favorite drink in the world, and your best friend might not like it. You know,
Hmm.
there's things you drink that I don't like, and there's things that I drink that you don't like, and
Hmm.
I don't. I might have just said the same thing twice, but regardless of the point, like, and everybody's taste buds are different. It's just like everybody has different tastes in foods. Everybody has different tastes in music. Everybody has different tastes in drinks. Don't like don't people are really bad about that with alcohol.
Hmm.
And I think it's just because we live in the South. Like, they're like, oh, this is the best alcohol. No, this is the best alcohol. And people literally get in fights over which
Hmm.
one's the best alcohol. What does it matter? What does it matter? Like, you like this, he likes that. Okay,
Man,
drink
I wanna
separate
I
stuff.
wanna see some fights between the Coke and Pepsi people. Let's see that draw some blood.
I've never seen that. Because of course, alcohol lowers your inhibitions, and most people
Yeah.
are already drunk when they get in these brawls. But could you imagine if like the two people got in a fight over which one tastes better, Coke or Pepsi?
Yeah, like they're just walking past your table and they see you're drinking like Mountain Dew and it's like, oh, look at this basic bitch.
Yeah, like seriously, like if I'm gonna be a basic bitch, I'm gonna go get me a iced latte from Starbucks. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, my go-to drink from Starbucks is always a venti mocha frappuccino. I get it every
Mm.
time I go there. I've had two this week. Don't at me. Well, I guess I haven't because it's Sunday. Was today the last day of the week? So technically, yeah, two this week because I had one Tuesday morning and I had one Friday morning.
Yeah, that's one thing that I stopped myself from drinking because they were just too overloaded in sugar.
They probably are, but they're so amazingly good.
Mm-hmm.
So amazingly good. I don't know what all's in it, but it's amazingly good. I mean, they probably got tons of sugar, tons of cream, tons of this, tons of that, chocolate on top of it. So
Yeah.
definitely not healthy, but what can you do? Every once in a while, you get that craving, and you got to satisfy it. I mean, besides the two I had this week, it's been 6 months since I had one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like, I mean, it's not something I get all the time. It's just like how you get like a craving for something and you get it, and then like a few days later you're like, oh, I just really need one more, and then you get another one, and then your craving's
Yep.
good for another 6 months to a year.
Well, except for that last part. I was with you up until that last part because my cravings are just like every few days. I
But
want some
see,
Chinese food. I want
see,
some
like
Chinese food.
I don't get craving. I guess because I eat Chinese often.
Hmm.
Like I don't get cravings for Chinese food. I usually get cravings for sweets or
Hmm.
treats because I don't like on a day-to-day basis. I do not keep sweets in my house. I don't keep
Yeah.
Little Debbie's because if I have them, I'll eat them, and if I don't have them, I don't eat them. But it's kind of like out of sight, out of the mind. But like every once in a while, like I'll just wake up and I'm like, you know what? I just really want a donut. And
Mm-hmm.
so like when I go to the store, I'll pick up like maybe like a 6 pack, like the little six set of 6 donuts. And like I'll eat one or two of the donuts. Sometimes I'll eat all six. It just depends. Like sometimes I don't. Like sometimes, like if Demon doesn't eat them and my son doesn't eat them, like I'll eat 2 donuts and I might throw the other 4 away. Like because I eat it, I satisfy the craving, and I'm good for 4 or 5 months. It's like what was it, like 2 weeks ago? Like I had this odd. I haven't eaten ice cream in like a year, but I had an odd craving for a banana shake. So I went to Sonic and I got a banana shake and I drank the one banana shake and I haven't had one since. Just like that was one of the things I learned early on is if you take care of a craving right then and you don't overindulge, usually you're not gonna fall that far off your lifestyle. Like because like people diet all the time and it really frustrates me, because I work I spend a lot of time at work because I work 12-hour shifts and I work 84 hours in a 2-week period. Like I spend a lot of time at work and I spend a lot of time around my coworkers. And like it just really bugs me sometimes, because they'll be like, "Oh, you're on your diet again," or "Oh, you're off your diet again." And I'm like, I'm not on a diet. I'm just today I'm eating healthy and tomorrow we'll see. You know? Like people were given like Demon, I'm not going to lie. Demon does eat a lot of calories, to be completely honest. Like he's still gaining weight and he probably might watch this or he might hear me, I don't know. But like he eats a lot of calories and it's not just from like he also drinks a lot of calories too. But he's okay. He don't care about like looking good or anything like that. So like he just doesn't care. But like my thing is like what does it matter if he eats 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on one break? What do you care?
Mm-hmm.
You know? If I eat chicken and rice one day and the next day I eat a salad and then the next day I bring a couple slices of pizza, what is what does it matter? It's not like I'm eating an entire large pizza here, folks. I'm eating 2 slices of pizza. And that might be all I have for like the entire day at work. I might eat small dinner.
Well, because that's one thing that some people don't get is that like when your eating habits are not the same as theirs. So
Right.
like I talked about this I think before stream, right? Like the other day I had like 2 slices of cake with my lunch.
Yeah.
I didn't eat dinner that day because
Yeah.
I didn't feel hungry.
Right.
Right? So I got all of my calories in a single meal. Like you can do that some days, or I can do that some days, and some days I can't. But who's to say that just because they're having a somewhat large meal there, they're going to have a large meal later?
Right.
And people judge your entire lifestyle based off a single meal, which is odd, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll see someone who's just eating like crackers for lunch or just eating a granola bar or something, and they may be going home and they might have a heavy dinner. They just don't want something heavy while they're at work, right?
Right.
But people will tend to judge those, anyone that's doing that.
Yeah, it's so crazy, because I hear it all the time. They're like it might be an overweight person, right? Let's just for the sake of argument, we'll say they're overweight. I have a specific coworker in mind, so this is but say you're overweight, right? And they're always egging you on about, oh, you need to lose weight, oh, you need to lose weight, oh, you need to lose weight, because they eat chips and cookies and crackers and just junk food all the time. And then the one day they come in. They got a pretty balanced meal. They've got like a protein, they've got like a veggie, and then they might be drinking water. They'll be like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't starve yourself."
Oh.
Like they're eating a perfectly balanced meal. It's just less than they normally eat. What? How do you know they didn't eat something? How do you know they didn't eat breakfast? How do you know they're not going to eat dinner? Like that was one of the things like whenever I was on that hardcore cut a few years ago and I got down to like 210 pounds, like I didn't make any super huge sacrifices. Like I was eating what I wanted to eat. I was eating chicken. I mean, I wasn't eating what I wanted to eat, I guess. I was eating things that I liked that were within my calorie count. So like I wasn't eating like fatty steaks and stuff like that. I was eating chicken. I was eating, spinach and like some rice and some sweet potatoes and like stuff like that, like veggies and fruits and stuff. and like they were like, "Oh, you're losing all this weight. You must be not eating anything extra." And I was like, "I have ice cream every night." And they were like, "What?" I was like, I eat ice cream every single night. Like, because I literally, at the time, that was like, it's like 3 or 4 years ago, like, like ice cream was my thing. Like, ice cream was my life, and I couldn't cut that out.
Yeah.
And so I was getting Halo Top. It was about like right when Halo Top came out. It was like, like 300 calories for an entire container. And does it taste as good as normal ice cream? No, it doesn't. But it was still ice cream, and it was still good, and I still ate it. But I would just I would cut 300 calories out of my calories for the day just for that ice cream.
Because, like, I mean, and that's I'd say one thing that, like, yes, some foods are quote unquote healthier than others.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you're taking your caloric needs into account when you eat something like that, it shouldn't really matter.
Well,
because that's what these foods were originally designed to be, right? They were designed to be caloric dense foods for when you didn't have much time to eat.
Right.
You know?
Well, my biggest thing is like the biggest thing for me is like I just had something and it slipped through my fingers. Where did it go? Where did it go? It's like that movie Super Size Me, right? Everybody dogged fast food for so long because of the Super Size Me movie. And yes, it's a terrible movie, and fast food is not the healthiest for you. But there was a guy not too long ago, I don't know if they did a documentary, if it was just a YouTube series, but there was a guy who actually lost like 100 pounds just eating McDonald's. Because instead of always choosing the largest option and stuff like that and trying to gain weight, like he chose like low calorie, like the highest density but the lowest calorie foods he could choose from McDonald's.
Because you have that, that initial researcher, right, that was trying to say that losing weight is simply because of caloric deficit. And so to prove it, he ate like junk food, like chips and stuff and candy for 6 months and still lost weight.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all about the caloric deficit.
But he couldn't have been eating that much.
Yeah.
Like he had to have been eating very little because like those are high caloric foods. Like you can people don't realize this, but I'm like, okay, look, which would be more filling? Okay? 2 pounds of spinach or 1 candy bar?
I'd rather have the 1 candy bar personally.
Personally, yes, but I didn't ask you which one you'd rather have. I asked you which one would make you more fuller.
Well, definitely the 2 pounds. I mean, dude, I don't even know if I could eat 2 pounds of spinach just by itself.
People take that into such a misconception. Like there was a guy that I watched on YouTube quite frequently, and he was like, when was the last time you saw a person get fat eating melon? He was like,
I could.
you could eat.
I actually could.
No, he's like, but you can eat. He was just joking around, but he was like, you can eat 4 pounds of melon, right? 4 pounds, and that's like maybe 1,000 calories. Are you telling me you could eat 8 pounds of melon every day?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
I mean, if you ate 8 pounds of melon a day, you'd be at like 2,000 calories or something like that.
Yeah, wouldn't even be a challenge. The hardest part would be buying the damn melons. But no, like I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just different. Like I'm much more of a, I guess you call it like a snacker.
What's your favorite like melon? Cantaloupe? You like cantaloupe?
Man, I like them all. I like cantaloupe. I like honeydew. I like watermelon.
Okay, so just for cantaloupe, because that's what pulled up whenever I typed in 8 pounds of cantaloupe, if that was all you were to eat, there's 1,200 calories.
You got to start growing cantaloupe then. I'll get my garden started.
8 pounds is a lot of cantaloupe. Like, what's in 12 pounds? 1,800 calories. So you could eat 12 pounds of cantaloupe every day, and you could technically be at a caloric deficit. I don't know that I could eat that much. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy, because like we were talking about like health foods and stuff like that. So like a lot of people say that you shouldn't eat chicken, broccoli, and rice because it's not sustainable, right? And I do agree, it's not sustainable over long term because you're gonna burn out on those foods and you're gonna want to eat something different. However, whenever I was eating chicken, broccoli, and rice, and I was eating other stuff too, so don't say I was just eating that. But like my thing was because I was eating turkey, like ground up turkey, like real low fat ground turkey, and I was making them into turkey patties, and I was eating those with like sweet potatoes and stuff like that. So I was diversifying, right? But I was keeping my caloric needs, like I was keeping a caloric deficit. My thing is like there were days where like I had 1,600 calories worth of chicken, broccoli, and rice, or turkey sausage, or turkey patties, or whatever it may be. I had 1,600 calories of this stuff, and I'm like, I can't finish this. Like I'm like, it's just too much food. Like I cannot finish this in a day. Like I'm like, but then like on the flip side, like it's nothing to go to McDonald's and order like 3 or 4 burgers. I can finish 3 or 4 burgers easy.
Well, at the same time, it comes down to like, the actual structure of the food, because like oil is a very caloric dense thing, right?
Right.
Because oils and fats are just so dense, and we use a lot of butter, in our cooking, and that can add a lot of calories very fast. Because it's like it's water content and just what's in it, right? Because you have some vegetables that are, people always talk about eating celery. You burn more calories than you actually eat.
Right.
Just because of the energy it takes to digest it. And so that's why, especially if you're really serious, you really do need to look at the foods you eat. Because I know the problem I run into the most when I try to eat healthier, when I try to calorie count, it's like when I'm making these meals, it's like I don't know how to count these as calories.
Yeah.
Because I'm not necessarily taking it in measured servings, right?
Right. Yeah, calorie counting, it can definitely, I'm not going to lie, calorie counting is difficult, especially when you're starting out, but it can be great in long term for your health and your weight. Every time that I've ever lost weight significantly has been while I was tracking calories. If I don't track calories, I eat extra and I don't lose weight. I gain weight because I'm not counting them. I'm not keeping track of them, and it gets out of hand because you're just not thinking about all the little things that you eat. And when you're tracking your calories, you really do, because you're like, I'm going to have this candy bar. Oh, wait, I got to write that down in my calorie thing. And you're like, oh, no, it's 480 calories. I'm not going to eat that. Like, that's going to blow my... I'm not even going to be able to eat dinner if I eat this, candy bar. But, like, when you're not tracking calories or anything like that, like, you're like, oh, I want this candy bar because I want this candy bar. And you get it and you eat it. And you're just like, oh, I'm still hungry. Well, maybe I'll get another candy bar. Or, well, maybe I'll get this. Or maybe I'll go ahead and eat now. So then you eat, and then it throws off your calories for the whole day. And so say you have one candy bar, and then you buy one soda, and then you brought 1,600 calories worth of food with you because you've already pre-ordered, pre-weighted out and everything. You got your flavor packets for your water that are like 0 or 5 or less calories, right? You've measured it all out to 16. Well, now you ate that candy bar, so now you're at 2,080. Because it's a 400. Well, just simple math. Say it's a 400 calorie bar. Then now you're at 2,000, and you had a soda. That's another 200 and something calories. So now you're at 2,200, and now you're in a caloric surplus, and you didn't even mean to be. It's kind of crazy. But knowing all of that, knowing all of it and sticking to it is so hard. People are like, oh, well, you just don't have willpower, or oh, you just don't have this. Well, you're right. I don't have the willpower to do that.
Yeah.
Not every day, all day long. Like I'm depressed. Like not all the time, But whenever I'm feeling down or I'm feeling sad, like I don't want to count my calories. Like, heck that shit. I want to do what I want to do. You know, I want to have that piece of cake. I want to eat that cheesecake. I want to eat that ice cream or whatever it may be. I want to eat an entire pack of cookies just because I can.
Yeah.
You know, and that's whenever you get into your eating disorders, you know, like you're binge eating and you're, I mean, there's tons of them. I've never been like bulimic or anorexic, but like I know that those are severe. You know, they're just on the other side of the spectrum, you know. It's kind of like one of the friends that me and you, they're more your friend, they were more my acquaintance. But he always struggled with his, like when he was depressed, he just didn't eat. And,
Yeah.
he would lose a lot of weight. We'd see him and he'd be real thin, and he's like, yeah, I lost 25 pounds because I haven't been eating. And I'm like, you didn't need to lose 25 pounds, man. You're already like super tiny. But like
Hmm.
I'm exactly the opposite. Like I get a little under the weather or a little, sad or whatever, and I might gain 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it's just your body type, you know. Like
Yeah. I mean,
some
that's what happened to me last year. So.
sometimes you gain weight, sometimes you lose weight. So, but anyway, I think we should probably try to wrap this up. We went a little off tangent a couple of times. We're at an hour and 36 minutes. So did you have any closing remarks?
You know, we did go off tangent there, but that's in our nature. Um, short. I mean, short and sweet. You know, you're gonna drink what you like to drink. Just
Yeah.
keep in mind what's in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, you don't have to only drink water, but if you're gonna drink caloric drinks, just keep in mind that that's part of your daily intake.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Culmination of Randomness. Randomness? Randomness. Completely random.
Hmm.
I'm Red Shadow.
I'm AeonWraith. Hopefully, you'll join us next time. Which do you have your schedule for next week, or
Well, I'll
do
work
you still have to iron
Sunday.
that out?
I'll work Sunday, so it'll either be Monday or Tuesday.
All right, there you go, gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen. Monday or Tuesday will be our next one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna try to look up some more topics for next time.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us. Join us again another time. We'd be happy to see you. And have a good day.
Hope everyone had a good stream. We'll catch you on the next one.